Today, on Soul Sparks with Saima, we are joined by our amazing guest, Michelle Hayes, a woman nutrition coach with over 25 years of nursing experience, who guides professional women over 40 to rediscover vitality, balance, and joy. With a unique focus on spirit first healing, she knows how true health begins not just with food, but with how we nourish our soul. So, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate your request to be on the show, and I'm really excited to talk to women about, just the fact how we need to be more spirit minded when it comes to our health journeys. So thank you again so much for allowing me to be here.
You're warmly welcome. It's my pleasure to have you here, Michelle. So, Michelle, why do you believe true health after 40 starts with spirit rather than just diet or exercise?
So, as we go on through our health journey, as we go through life, right, we actually get to the point where we start looking for more deeper connection with ourselves, right? And the fact that I feel that in your 30s, in your teens, it's really about a lot about external stuff that we really focus on. But as we get into our 40s, what we find is that we are looking ahead more and understanding that in this life we also have purpose. So I feel that when we get to our 40s and we're looking for help, yes, there's still some of the external things that I want to look good and stuff like that. But it's really what's inside of us. Like, what is in our spirit? What do we want to feel? What do we want to leave into this world? And, finding that in everyday things. And it's about aligning with ourselves. So I think this is pretty much where our spirit push comes in when it comes to your health of over 40 and aligning that with your spirit.
I appreciate, Michelle, that how you highlight the importance of spirit as the foundation because, so often health gets reduced to just food and fitness. But what you have shared really shows that how lasting health after 40 is about a deeper connection with ourselves and not just routines or habits. And that's such an insightful way to look at it.
Yes, I 100%. And I honestly believe that if we focus on that, then everything else would fall into place, right? Because what we're doing is we're actually more in touch and in tune with ourselves. And health is not just about what we do to our bodies, but how can we relate with our bodies, especially women over 40, because we have so many other things to navigate through health, right? We have things like, perimenopausal. We have things, all of these things that brings up brain fog, memory losses, loss in your own self, loss in libido, things that's happening to your body that you're like, nobody knows how to explain it to you. So we can't just go with what we do to our bodies, like, and blaming ourselves. But like, we have to say to ourselves, okay, what is going on? These are the things I cannot change. I cannot change. Thankfully, I'm getting older. So thankfully, I'm going through menopause and I'm going through these things, but I cannot change some of the symptoms. This is something that my body has to go through, right? How can we work with it to make this experience more optimal for our health?
Absolutely, 100%. Was there a personal experience that proved this truth for you?
Right,
Lasting
right.
spirit.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, in my 40s, I went through a few distressing things in life. I got a divorce, and just was living in a place of sort of distrust with my own decisions and distrust with my own body. And really, it got to a point where I started thinking to myself, is like, I'm like a lot of women, I'm not sure, is it even really worth being around? And then it was like this revelation in me, like, that I need to be healthy for me. And after going through that process and getting up to almost 300 pounds, I really had to sit and pray and decide, like, what does health really mean to me? What does being healthy really mean to me? Am I going to continue blaming other people, not really taking responsibility for my health, looking towards the physicians or doctors to help me? Because at the end of the day, we have to understand that doctors go to school to find cures. They don't go to school to prevent stuff. And I was already in a place where if I didn't do something with my life, I would probably end up with a heart attack or full diabetes and stuff like that. So whilst all of that was happening in my life, I just felt an overwhelming sense of so much stress. And I realized that if I don't get a hold of it and take that reins for myself and really show that I really want to live, the only way to do that was to start with asking myself the question, why do you want to get healthy? And by asking myself that question, I had to go really deep and say, okay, why do you want to get healthy? And a lot, or lose weight. If I would, that's the place where I started. And a lot of people would say, well, I just want to get health, lose weight so I can look good, look better.
Hmm.
But for me, I had to go a little deeper because I've done that in the past, right? I'm sure there's women out here that can relate. We've lost the weight in the past, but did it really change anything? Did it make us just fill us for joy? Did it make us any happier? Maybe you felt good in your clothes a little bit, but what about the internal aspect of it? So then I had to go a little deeper and ask again. So if you lost the weight, why is that important? Why is that going to affect your life? What is it that is going to make you feel good? So I had to go deeper and ask myself several reasons why. And like when I got to the last why of it is really, you know what, I want to be the healthiest, strongest person in my life for me. Because if I'm healthy for me and I'm strong in my body for me, then I have the ability to help more people. So that's where I was.
Firstly, thank you for sharing that, Michelle. It really adds so much depth to the idea because hearing the personal experience behind it makes it more real and relatable, I would say. And I think a lot of people will connect with the story and see, how spirit can truly guide health in a way that goes beyond just routines.
Yes, 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 100%. 100%. It really has to start internally. I really believe that health is a consciousness, that it's really not about just looking a certain way as the magazines and all of that tell us that we should look, but it's a consciousness, it's a conscious feeling of being in tune with yourself and being in tune with your body. And honestly, I know for a fact that if you have a purpose and you have a prescription for how you're going to frame that purpose, your sense of self is much stronger.
Yes, yes. And that perspective shifts the whole conversation, like fixing the body to nurturing the whole being. Absolutely. Now, you have created a step by step formula that promises profound changes in 60 days. So, can you share that what makes it so effective compared to traditional methods?
Oh, this is great. Thanks you for asking that question. So my formula is very because I work with women over 40. And working with women over 40, we have a unique amount of things that we go through in our body, as I've mentioned before. So whereas when we were in our 20s and in our 30s, we can actually literally say, okay, you know what? I'm going to skip a meal. I am going to work out 6, 7 days a week. And then I lose the weight. And it worked then because our bodies was working with a different set of hormones, a different set of process stress levels. So my way of doing things is we actually start out with doing things like understanding what our body needs right now. So one of the things that I like specifically talk about is how we eat. How we eat, we need to eat in such a way that will support our metabolism and support our health goals. And that does not equate to eating 1100 calories a day. It doesn't equate to you not eating your favorite food. It doesn't equate to you not enjoying life. And because what happens when we do that is that we fall into this stress body mindset, and that increases our stress levels. And I know a lot of people talk about it, but it's really very important to understand as women over 40, we need to eat differently. We need to eat in such a way that support our metabolism, support our wellness, support our hormone health, and get that in alignment. The other thing that I really utilize a lot is this not so much cardio and running into cardio and just all of this stuff like that, but really developing our strength. Because as someone who actually got into powerlifting in my fees, I now know how important this is. And I want women to understand that this is really where it's at. And to not be what you follow, what you see on social media, all the crazy that you see on social media, that is not what you need to follow. You really need to have a specific plan for you. And that's the thing that my program is different. One of the things I love to do is to take what you eat every day. Because I really firmly believe that in a world where we have so much different cultures, so much different eating habits, um, women sometimes we think to ourselves, you know what, I can easily go on a diet and eat what somebody else is telling me to eat, and I can do that for 12 weeks and I'll be okay. But what I really want you to do, I want to take what you eat every day in your culture, in your diaspora, in your life. I want to use that and make it healthy in a way so that when you are cooking, when you are eating, when you are with your family, you're not feeling deprived, but you are still supporting your health goals. So that's, for me, nutrition is based on where you're at. So when I work with women, I ask them a specific question. I says, I want you to tell me what you eat on a daily basis. We take that now and like says, okay, let's make this healthier for you. Because I don't want you to feel left out. And I don't want you to feel like you have to go and find a whole new way of cooking, because what happens is we have habits that's been laid down for a long time. Our eating patterns does not come from what we think where we think it comes from. It actually comes from where you were born, where you live, what you saw your parents did. And it's very, very subconscious. And these are the tracks that's been laid down for a long time. So if I just come and tell you to try and go and beat a new path and not show you how that path is not all bad, you can actually use some of the things on that path and bring it onto this new path. You don't feel so stressed out. You don't feel so like out of my element, And how long can I do this for? And you stick with it and you're rigid with it for like 2 weeks. And then after that, there's nothing happening. And so this is why I actually focus on where you are right now. And we build on those habits. And if there are things in that habits that we need to change, we change it, but we want to make what you do every day in such a way that it's healthier. And you can say, you know what, this is not so stressful. And I can actually keep this going for the rest of my days. And with that in mind, I have helped a lot of women lose 12, 20, 25 pounds, and they know how to keep it off because they are actually working with the same things that they've been working with.
Mm-hmm. That's such an encouraging approach, Michelle. And I love how you emphasize that real change doesn't mean giving up the joy of food or feeling restricted. And again, the way you explain it makes the process sound more sustainable and enjoyable, I would say, which is probably why people can stick with it and actually see those results.
Exactly. And people can take it anywhere. They can take it anywhere. Okay, I'm going on vacation and I have the conversations. Don't get me wrong. Like, we still have the anxiety, right? Women don't want to feel that, they want to build a better, healthier relationship with food. So we do have the conversations about, okay, I'm going on vacation. This is out of my wheelhouse now. What can I do? So I have the conversations with them. We use the tools. One simple thing that I advise people to do, okay, you're going on vacation. How about let's look at some of the restaurants that you're going to experience. Let's look at some of the food cuisines that you're going to experience, right? And, go with the flow. I'm not trying to tell you to restrict, but go with the flow, because I don't want you to come back from vacation and feel like you've blown everything, because it's so easy, again, because that's the habits that we've had in the past. And that's the thinking that we've had in the past. It's all or nothing. It's either I'm all in with this and I'm eating like a bird, or I have to eat all, like, if I have no food is coming next day. So what we look at the area that you're going, what kind of foods that you go, what kind of foods do you want to enjoy? If you go into a place where they have a lot of street foods, I'm going to enjoy some street food, but these are the choices I'm going to make. So when you take it and you go anywhere, when you what you learn with me is that you can take this anywhere you go. And that is the beauty of how I get people to stick to this for not just the time they're with me, but I can go back to them and say, okay, well, how have you been? Are there people that's gonna fall off? Absolutely. You know, this is life, this is human beings. But mostly people say, you know what, those habits that I learned, I still use it to this day.
That makes a whole lot of sense, Michelle. So, do women, ever resist such quick transformation thinking it's too good to be true?
Well, no, because the thing is, some, like as always, people say, okay, well, what I have done programs in the past, what makes this different? You know what makes this different? Because a lot of programs in the past, after 2 weeks, you quit because
Mhm.
it's too strict. It's too uh the structure is not there. And another thing is that a lot of people who quit actually are not personally coached. They don't have the accountability. They don't have the community that they need to talk to. So one of the things that I preach, and one of the things I actually work on myself, is the fact that you have to have um your environment has to be different. So some people may not get that kind of environmental help at home. A lot of women, because we've tried so many things in the past, and we like, we say, okay, I really am gonna try really now. This is the last time I'm gonna try and get healthy. And people around us, they doubt us, they laugh at us, and then that does not help our belief system. So the fact that you have to change your environment and be around people that is going to support you and have somebody that is in your corner and telling you that, hey, it's not about perfection. It's about aligning your goal, your why, with the weight loss that you want to accomplish. And if you make it in such a way that you find in a framework that will not just help with what is going on with your body, but how are we going to mobilize that why? How are we going to say it's not separate? You have to have that force behind you to say, I know that I can do this, and I keep going with it. So when we say about less these women get these results, is because the environment is different. It's because they have the support that's different, and they're not quitting on themselves after 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I really like, Michelle, that how you take the pressure off by pointing out that it's not about perfection, but about creating the right environment. And that makes the idea of transformation feel so more realistic and approachable. And I think that reassurance is exactly what many women need to hear. And that's such a refreshing and important perspective.
Yes, it is, because we are very targeted in this world. In
Mm.
this world of women over 40, we are very targeted, and not we are not only targeted by unscrupulous people, people who have just want to really much get money from us, right? And digging using our pain to almost make us feel guilty as to the fact that we want to do it in such we want to go slow, that we're not really looking for so much so this washboard stomach and all of these things like this, and having a certain body type, because we don't want to feel guilty into that. And when you feel that you can achieve that, you quit on yourself. So the thing is, we are very targeted, and we also targeted especially for someone like myself, and I know a lot of women out there who really have a dysfunctional relationship with food. We are targeted for the quick fixes. We are targeted for the things that we do every day. And we're targeted to, like, you're doing it wrong, and my little pill can fix it. And on not understanding that deep transformation, changing the way that you get into yourself, is where it's going to start. It has to be intrinsic. And nobody wants to take the time to do the intrinsic work, right? So for me, it's very important to understand that we are targeted, and I want to give the women the tools to understand that even though we're targeted, we can still come out of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. That makes sense. Yes, and that's so true. I think, yes, a lot of women listening will relate to that. The pressure of all those quick fixes can really feel overwhelming. And it's really powerful to hear you acknowledge it. Your approach,
Mhm.
Michelle, really shows There's a healthier and more sustainable path that honors where women are at the stage of life.
Yeah, I mean, we have to understand that our healing matters. And I just don't know any other way that you can actually have lasting results if you're not dealing with your spirit and dealing internally with really what's going on with you. It's just because look for the outside, always looking at the outside for the help that you need and not dealing with the inside. It's not a long lasting, sustainable route to do. I really firmly believe that we have everything that we need to be successful, right? It's
Yes.
just we need to walk with someone who can actually bring that out in us. And when we are struggling, to that we can also find that person and find this community that would really give us deeper engagement, deeper support, and help us to build ourselves up.
Yes, that distinction is really so empowering. Now, some women believe that it's too late after 40 to, reclaim vibrant health. So, lastly, what would you like to say to challenge that belief?
Oh, that is thank you for that question. Like, you know what? It's never too late. Every day you wake up and you have breath, understand that there is another chance for you to feel your best self. And I can tell you, as someone who lost 120 pounds at age 48 and has kept most of the 120 pounds off, I'm now in powerlifting competitions. I actually look and feel younger than I did at 40. It's never too late, right? Stop waiting for other people's permission to prioritize your health and your well being, right? It's messy. It can be messy, but you have to start small. And the most important thing is to start. Just start. So, anyone that's listening to me today, I want to challenge you to take a step, to take a start, right? If you want some help, we can do a quick audit. I can get you some help. You can walk away with steps that you can start doing right away. It's never too late.
Mhm.
Try pick one thing that you can do every day. Whether it's like today I just want to drink more water. Today I just want to get 500 more steps in. And then take a moment and thank yourself. Thank your body for actually getting you here today. So it's never too late. You're not never too far gone. There are women who've started powerlifting in their 70s and 80s, and they're stronger than they were before. So please don't sell yourself short. One of the things that I want to encourage people is like, you know, people's like, I have no motivation. I don't have motivation to start. What it starts with is one little action. When you start with the one little action and you begin to feel a little better, it gets the motivation. That's where you get motivation. And once you get the motivation and you keep going, then you have the consistency, then and you get see the results. You just keep it's a circle. It's a cycle. But it starts with taking one action today.
Yes, and the reminder that every new breath is a chance to start fresh really takes away the fear and limitation. And that kind of encouragement is exactly what so many women need to hear, including me. And I just love the way you put that. It's so simple yet powerful.
Yes, it's just. I mean, we have so much going on in our heads, and I thank you again today for bringing me on this podcast just to talk about this because we have so much going on, and we have so much self doubt and so much self hate because literally this is what is being pushed to us, right? You can't do it. You have no willpower. You're not motivated. And you know what? I always like to say, it's not about willpower. It's about your power, right? And
Mhm.
if you are really into understanding about who you are, I mean, and you have to do some deep work. If that means that you have to go see a counselor and stuff like that because there's some things in your past that you need to deal with it. But don't let anybody else tell you that you're too far gone. Please, please, please. I really want women out there to really listen to the words they say to themselves, because honestly, the things that we say to ourselves, we will not say to somebody else. Even our worst enemy, we won't say it to other people. So we really make ourselves the enemy from within. And I really want to encourage you today that you're not too far gone. It's not too late. You can do it, but but what the thing is that it's not about overhauling your whole life. It's about starting small. And if you do 1% today, and every day you do 1%, if you think about it, every week you do 1% better than you did last week. In 52 weeks, you would have done 52% better.
Absolutely.
And,
And
yeah, right? So just think about 52% better. If you can be more than 50% better next year than you were this year, where would you be?
yes, that's a great distinction. Yes. So, Michelle, you reminded us that being healthy after 40 isn't just about what's on our plate, but what's in our spirit. When we lead with inner healing, the body naturally follows. So, listeners, if you have been waiting for Sunday to reclaim your health, let today be the spark, because your best years might just be ahead of you.